my name's Natalie and welcome to another episode of I Had a Drink With. This is the show where I get to sit down with amazing leaders in the tech space, ask them a little bit about their experience, and we get to try some funky flavoured drinks just for fun as well. Today I'm here with Dinithi Abeysinghe. She is a Director of Software Engineering at Zendesk and a General Advocate for women in tech everywhere. So Dinithi, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Amazing stuff. Well, I'm going to take a moment just to explain a little bit about what we're going to do today for you and for anybody who might not have watched before. Essentially, I'm going to ask you a question. You're going to get the chance to impart your amazing wisdom onto our lovely audience, and then we're going to try a funky flavoured drink in between. And I'm going to get you to try and guess the flavour. Does that sound
good?
Some people are better at it than others, all right? Our taste buds can be a bit misleading. I would recommend having a smell before you give it a taste, all right?
You're scaring me.
Well, one of these is a little bit scary, but the rest should be quite pleasant. Well, look, I'd love to get straight into asking you the questions if you're ready to go.
Sure.
All right, so I like to generally make the first question about yourself. So can you tell me a little bit about your career journey so far and how you got to where you are now?
Sure. I'll make it the short version of the story.
I did hear the long version at a Zendesk meetup one time, so we're happy to hear the short version.
That's right. I've been in technology roles, various roles, for the last sort of 2 decades. And most of that, I like to call it my sort of formative years, have been in or around directly working for Telstra. I've been in system design, implementation, delivery, operations management, and I've also led teams in all of those functions. When I left Telstra in 2019, I wanted to intentionally choose opportunities that were going to diversify my experience away from telecommunications, because my resume was starting to look a little bit like a love letter to telecom. Since then, I've worked in professional services, financial services, and now I'm deeply immersed in the world of building SaaS products at Zendesk.
Amazing. It sounds like you're really enjoying yourself too.
I am.
Yeah.
It's an amazing place to be.
Awesome. Well, with that, we can try a sip of our very first drink. I've got some water here if you want to reject it. Have a little sniff. This one's an interesting flavour. This is a hard one. I've started off on a very difficult note.
Yeah, it's just nice. It's my feedback.
Perfect. This is great. That's the flavour. Just nice. It's pink lemonade.
Oh,
Yeah, lemonade
cool.
but pink. Yeah, it's a simple one. But that takes us to our next question. So I've always really admired your advocacy for women and girls in tech, and I think that my audience will be really curious to hear from you in regards to how you think it's best to attract female applicants into organisations these days.
Okay.
Big question.
Big question. Many answers. I think first and foremost, organizations need to decide or need to identify whether their commitment to diversity, where it's coming from. Is it just a tick in the box? Is it someone set a diversity goal or a target? You know, is it about perception? Or is there genuine understanding and appreciation of the value of diversity, the diversity of thought, of problem solving, of innovation, and the value that brings to the organization? If that is right, I think that culture starts to be apparent, it's recognized, people identify it, it gets talked about. So to me, that's something that leaders of an organization can work on establishing, which goes a long way. Second, I'd say most importantly, is being able to see it. So what are the success stories of the women who've come into the organization and been able to have really fulfilling careers where they've worked on challenging things, they've had great achievements, and they've been able to maintain a good work-life balance for whatever is important to them. I think making that visible and making it real for candidates you want to attract is probably the 2 things that I would say really count when it comes to people comparing organizations against each other.
Yeah, amazing. And a lot of what you're saying is stuff that really resonates in the meetups that I go to and the people that speak about these kinds of topics. I think you've really nailed it there. And that takes us to our second drink of the night. So this one should be interesting. I definitely recommend giving this one a smell before giving it a try. Oh, okay, the smell is quite accurate. Oh, there's an interesting aftertaste there.
I feel like I smell jalapeno.
You're probably not wrong. Yep, like onions, capsicum. Yep. Is there any particular foods that are coming to mind? Mexican style.
It smells.
It smells really accurate. It's
like
enchiladas. Yeah, it's enchiladas. Does that make sense?
Yes.
That is a weird one, but that is weirdly accurate. I have to admit, wow.
I didn't expect to drink an enchilada drink.
No, I know. I told you I had a treat for you. Hopefully they get a little bit more pleasant from here on out. But that'll take me to our next question. So I guess we all know that it's all well and good to try and attract females into an organisation, but I'm really curious to hear about what you think organisations should be doing to retain the females that they have in their organisation.
That's a great question.
It's a harder question.
It is a harder question and more involved. I'd say a couple of things. Let's start with how we're creating defined career progression. Anyone who's incredibly talented doesn't want to hang around unless there is visibility of where their organization is going to support their progress as well, right? So making that unambiguous, being able to provide equal opportunities, I think is key to retaining female candidates. Secondly, I think building a network of mentorship and advocacy for women in the organization is also incredibly important. I think we can do that almost in a matrix way. So at the team level, making sure that there's always inclusivity and appreciation for solving the problem in many different ways, leading up to having senior leaders who are mentors, advocates for people within the organization goes a long way. Just creating those opportunities, though, isn't enough. I think it's also incredibly important to provide a support network within the organization beyond the person's immediate team that helps them be completely open and transparent about feeling overwhelmed or daunted about taking these opportunities is equally important, because we all feel afraid of doing something new. It can be difficult being the only different person who's coming in to do something new as well. And I think creating that space to have that conversation, hear from other leaders in the organization about their own experiences, hear them be vulnerable in terms of what scares them even today, it makes a big impact. Most recently, as a lead up to the Women in Engineering Day, we had leaders at Zendesk share their career stories. And I remember two stories really resonating with me, and I reached out to the person and just DM'd her and said, "Thanks for being so real. I loved you sharing this." And I feel like it gives us all a little bit of encouragement, supports us, help us not be afraid of doing things. Like having this conversation with you, which I'm actually terrified of doing. But if it'll help someone by sharing your story, creating that space for people to hear it and creating that space for people to openly share those stories is, I think, also incredibly important.
Could not agree more. Amazing. It sometimes is just about being courageous, taking that step so that other people can follow suit and feel empowered to do the same thing. Love it, love it. And that takes us to our next flavored drink. This one's a simple flavor.
Oh, good.
And it's not going to be savory, so I hope it'll be a bit more pleasant. Well, I mean, it's pretty obvious. That is very nice. That is really nice.
Favorite so far.
That's one of the best ones I've ever tried.
It's got like an undertone of,
Strawberry almost, but it's not.
I want to say Bailey's, but sure.
Really? Oh, it is a bit creamy. Oh, that is so good. To me, it's like dipping a strawberry in chocolate, but there's no strawberry, it's just chocolate.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, but that is one of the nicest ones I've ever tried. That is really, that's so
amazing.
Wowee, there you go. Well, we'll go on to our very last question. So you shared with me earlier on that the theme of this year's Women in Engineering Day is Make Safety Seen. And I'm really interested to know how you think leaders in organisations should be interpreting the theme this year.
I think that theme, making safety seen, has been interpreted this year by various industries differently, and different individuals that I've been speaking to have also interpreted it in their own context. For me personally, I know that feeling safe in my career and my work environment is about being able to bring my whole self to work, and knowing that even if I'm the most different person in the virtual or physical room, I'm going to be seen for my talent, my potential, and the value that I bring to the exercise. As a leader, it's obvious that people do their best work when they're most comfortable, appreciated, and motivated. So it's about creating that environment in a consistent way. It's a little bit trickier in day-to-day execution because it means living our values even when the pressure is on. In fact, it's probably most important to be seen to lead an organization with our values in mind when the pressure is on, and people recognize that, they appreciate it. And I hope that that resonates with, in the current climate, leaders who are struggling to maintain the balance between continuing to value diversity and being able to achieve all of the various business outcomes that we keep driving towards every day.
Yeah, what a fantastic last answer. That takes us to our very last drink as well. So hopefully this one's pleasant. This also smells alcoholic, but it's not. It's a misleading flavour, but there's one strong flavour and I think you'll be able to get it.
I don't have a clue.
Bit cinnamony?
Mm.
Yeah. It's like having a bit of Fireball, but not quite as like intense and non-alcoholic.
Yeah, I like that we've interpreted every drink in the context of a cocktail.
I know, I feel like it's just the energy we bring to the table tonight, but it's actually pumpkin pie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but that cinnamon's coming through really strong. Well, Dinithi, I've had an absolute pleasure of a time interviewing you this afternoon. You have some amazing insights that you've shared on, the state of women in the tech space, and I think that a lot of people in my audience are going to find what you had to say really, really valuable. So thank you so much for coming on and joining me.
Thank you. It's been amazing being here.
Awesome stuff. Well, as usual, if you'd like to connect with Dinithi, I'm going to leave the link to her profile in the video's description. I'm sure she'd love to hear from you. And if you'd like to connect with myself, I'd also love to hear from you as well. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye.